Good afternoon. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration on how to shoot a bow following the NTS steps of shooting. The NTS steps of shooting are stance, knock, hook and grip, set, set up, draw to load, anchor, transfer to hold, expand to aim, release follow through, and feedback. First, I'm going to start with stance. Typically, when you are shooting archery, you like to stand shoulder width apart to create a good stability to where you're not rocking back and forth on your feet. And you want to go straight up and down with your shoulders, and then you want to take this front foot that you have, because I'm a right-handed, it would be my left foot. You want to move it a tad bit in front and angle it out just a little bit, just to get a little bit more steadiness, so you're not, when you draw, you're not shaking and you're not moving back and forth or this and this. You're straight and you got a stability and you're solid. The next one is going to be knock. It is different for mini bows. On compound, you have a set place between a D-loop where you knock the arrow. Where on your Genesis bows that you use in school, there is a little brass piece that you have to knock under. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using a compound bow. And to knock an arrow on a compound bow, you will take the arrow, you will set it in the rest right here, and you will take it and hook it right between the D-loop until you hear click. The next step is hook and grip. When they say hook and grip, they mean to hook your release on and then set your hand. When you set your hand, you want to take your hand, and if you look at it, there's a lifeline right in the middle, right there. You want to take that and set it right at the top of your grip, and then roll your fingers around to where it's like you're knocking on a doorknob. The next step is set. When you set, you kind of get in position to shoot, but you're not adequately ready to shoot yet. And set up is when you come up before you draw and you get in line with your target and you acquire to where you're going to shoot and aim. The next is draw to load. When you draw to load, you put a little bit of pressure on, but you don't pull all the way back. You're putting a little bit of pressure, just a little bit of draw on there. The next step is anchor. When you anchor, you pull the bow back, and for a wrist strap, you want to go right under that cheekbone and settle into your peep. After that is transfer to hold. You may not have seen it in there, but your transfer to hold is you look at this back scapula right here in your back, and if you watch when I drew, I transitioned all my weight to my back instead of my shoulders. Because if you transition the weight to your back, you have less likely to prevent from shoulder injury later on in shooting, and it gives you like a longer expectancy to shoot. You're not in that mode of, oh, I'm going to get hurt, because if you transfer everything to your back, it's less strain on your muscles and your shoulders. The most common injury for archers is shoulder injury, because they forget to transfer to hold, because they're so worried about, oh, I got to hold the bow in the middle, The next step I'm going to talk about is expand and aim. Now, to do that, I'm going to have to draw the bow back. When you draw the bow back, you look through the peep, which is this, and you center it on the first top pin, which is my green pin. So, set up, draw, anchor, expand the aim, and the last step is follow through, where you slowly make a claw on your release, get in the peep, aim, and slowly squeeze the trigger. And that brings us to our 10th step, which is release and follow through. If you've seen when I shot, after I shot, the bow went straight. It didn't go this way, it didn't go this way, it went straight. That is real important in your accuracy. If you want to be super accurate, you do not want to move your bow a whole bunch. You want to just shoot it straight towards the target. You don't want to deflect this way, deflect this way, because it's going to cause your arrow to go this way and go this way. If you point it straight at the target and you drive it, they say, at the target, it will increase your chances of the arrow hitting the center 90% of the time. One of the last and most important steps to me is feedback. When they say feedback, you think about how the shot felt. How was the bow holding? How did the release go off? How was my pin floating? Was my pin floating down? Was my pin floating in the center? It's just, you analyze how the shot felt. If it was bad, what you could do different, and how you can further advance and aim and get better at archery. I hope this has given you some insight on how to shoot archery following the NTS steps.